Prime Minister Edi Rama dropped a bombshell today via Twitter, declaring that he had received and accepted the resignation of Fatmir Xhafaj in the position of Interior Minister. Sandor Leshi was announced as the replacement. The value of the euro in comparison to the lek has dropped by almost an entire percentage point over the last few days, reaching the lowest point since June and currently being traded at 124.56 lek. The Ministry of Agriculture announced today that they will be offering 40 rental contracts for a total of 20,000 hectares of land across the country for the purpose of agricultural development. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Saturday the 27th of October 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country translated into English. Fatmir Xhafaj suddenly resigned today from his position as Interior Minister. The surprise news was announced by Prime Minister Edi Rama via a status on Twitter, which reads, "I accepted the resignation of Minister Fatmir Xhafaj, for whom I thank for his valuable contribution." Following the status update announcing the resignation, Prime Minister Edi Rama issued a follow-up tweet announcing the appointment of his security advisor to the post formerly held by Fatmir Xhafaj. General Sandor Leshi will bring new and positive energy as the head of the Interior Ministry, wrote Rama on Twitter. Initially, Xhafaj was not present when expected at the ministry, arriving late for the first time since he took the position nearly a year ago. Prior to entering the building of the ministry, Fatmir Xhafaj was faced with many journalists and cameramen asking him for a statement as to the reasons for the resignation. However, Xhafaj refused to comment on this issue, only thanking the journalists and quietly stating, "I had a very pleasant morning." It is understood that before heading in the direction of the ministry building, Xhafaj enjoyed a nice breakfast with his family members. Aura News journalist Katie Banushi issued this statement live from the Ministry of Interior via direct video link. The causes for the unexpected resignation are still unclear. By all accounts from the staff here, the resignation is a complete surprise. The Socialist MP and Chair of the Economics Commission, Debraj, was in Lushna for a meeting with women and girls to talk about the legal initiative the government has taken to stop gambling and betting. Debraj has responded to those who call it a populist initiative, among them expert analysts. Throughout this three-year history since 2015, three things have impressed me, or at least there are three things that I deem worthy of a response today. The first is this general conclusion that you see on television, a medium which gives an impression on a range of topics from women's gynecological problems to the problems with irrigation and drainage canals. These great analysts say that this is a populist initiative by nature. Now, a part of them are gamblers. I say this openly because I was directly affected. The money they received from television or the money they received as fines to use television left them there. A part of them are also judging and subjective of all the history. But I have a question. When we set progressive tax on your salaries, protecting all the low wages below 300,000 lek to 1,300,000 lek, was that populism? No, it was not populism, because we left the money in the pockets of each of you, women and girls who were working for your families, and not just for you, but also for your husbands, said Debraj. In addition to Debraj, Prime Minister Edi Rama and Socialist MP Bashkim Fino were also in Lushna for the meeting with women and girls to discuss the legal initiative for banning gambling. In his speech, SP MP Fino thanked Rama for this initiative and underlined that his judicial battle in Lausanne will be followed to the end. A few months ago, at the beginning of this year, I started a battle for a pure football campaign in Albania without bingo and bets. I'm continuing the judicial process in Lausanne and I'll take it to the end. I want to thank, encourage and support this initiative, said Bashkim Fino. They get economic aid and throw it away on a chance whim. They even bet for Inter, which is a whole other topic. But one of the reasons why Bashkim is happy to close bets is because Juventus always wins and Inter fans feel twice the devastation, replied Prime Minister Edi Rama. The euro has fallen by nearly 1 percentage point over the past few days. According to the Bank of Albania's current rate, €1 is being exchanged at 124.56 lek, reaching one of the lowest levels since June of this year. The reason is thought to be that there is high circulation of euros in the market, but the demand for it is weak. There is also thought to be a psychological effect on the euro's depreciation after the issuance of a euro bond to the value of €500 million to the Albanian government. Another reason for the downturn in the euro is the prolonged tourist season, which is bringing local currency growth to our country. Meanwhile, the Bank of Albania continues its attempts to intervene and try to stabilise the exchange rate by buying euros. But the lack of a detailed plan by foreign currency experts on the market will likely bring about other exchange rate fluctuations in the country. Over the past 3 months, the European currency has remained at 125 lek. According to the Bank of Albania's data, the lek appreciated on average by 2.3% against the euro in 2017, but this appreciation accelerated to around 6.4% in just the first half of 2018. The euro's depreciation is quite substantial if we compare it to January this year, when a euro was exchanged for 134 lek, thus resulting in a depreciation of at least 10 points. All farmers or subjects interested in agriculture can benefit from state land that will be made available for rent. The Ministry of Agriculture has opened applications for about 20,000 hectares of land spread in locations across the country. The Ministry of Agriculture has about 20,000 hectares of agricultural land under administration for rent. There are a total of 40 contracts on offer, explained property expert Melinda Bozgo. The possibility of a legal situation arising regarding ownership of leased state lands has been considered when drafting the package, which foresees termination of the rental contract should such a circumstance arise. In the territories for which we will issue lease contracts, if claims are made by former owners, then these areas will be automatically subtracted, added Bozgo. Land segmentation is a problem, however, because many entities require larger areas to invest. Despite the fragmentation of the agricultural land in certain areas, these parcels are close to each other, which could constitute a block, concluded Melinda Bozgo. The terms of the rental agreements, such as their length, will depend on what is grown by the lessor. Renting of agricultural land for the period of 30 years will be available for orchards and herbs, while 99-year terms will be offered for olive groves. The value of renting agricultural land is related to the area where it is located, with prices varying from 5,000 lek to 22,000 lek. The residents of Debraj who have been affected by the construction of the Shkodra bypass returned to protest for compensation for land expropriated for use to construct the roads which will connect with this main axis. They said that in 6 years they have received no money, demanding a response while threatening to escalate the protests. 6 years after the start of the works for the Shkodra bypass, residents of Debraj affected by the project say they have not yet been compensated for the land that was taken for public interest. We have been demanding for the past 6 years that the damages be paid to us for our land that they have taken away. They have opened a canal and my children and my mother, who is 80 years old, cannot pass. At least make our path. My home is my only investment, but I cannot get out of the house now that the canal has been opened, said another resident. For these issues, the residents took to protesting today. We need to have an ability to exit. What if there is an emergency or some other problem? The land has been taken away. We demand money now because they have been mocking us for years. We have no compensation nor an exit to reach the road bypass, added a resident of Debraj. Connecting roads to the residential area of the main axis are another community demand. If their demands are still not met, they warned of an escalation in the protests. For these concerns, Debraj residents say they have addressed the co-governance platform and are awaiting a response. This investment has now turned into a saga for the Shkodran people. After the flood period back in 2010-2011, work on this segment commenced immediately. However, it is still yet to be completed. Today, the missing solution is the indemnification as the works continue, and the Albanian Road Authority has foreseen that this investment will be finalised by 2019-2020, serving as a street and also as the lakeshore for the citizens of Shkodra. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and have a lovely weekend.